Now, Storm Watch 12 weather with meteorologist Josh Culbreath.
Welcome back to News Watch 12 this morning, and we are tracking yet another potent storm system that's about to make landfall in the Pacific Northwest. So the clouds you see streaming behind that little comet head feature, and that is what's going to be another atmospheric river that's going to impact us later today and then into Saturday and also into Sunday as well. So we'll put it into motion with Stormcast. By the time we get to midday, I think this is mainly just impacting the west side valleys and especially the coast. And you can see that this iteration of Stormcast has a really hard time bringing this inland all throughout the day. It just kind of stalls out on the west side, but then overnight it'll start to spread over to the east side. So then it's a pretty equitable affair. Snow levels are going to be anywhere between 4,000 to 5,000 feet. We'll have more on that here in a minute. But into Saturday, by the time we get to midday, it does look like we're going to get a little bit of a lull in the action, but then here comes yet another round into the overnight hours of Saturday, transitioning into Sunday morning. So we're expecting a lot of rainfall once again for the umpteenth time over the past couple of weeks. And this time, once again, the bullseye is going to be down in south central Siskiyou County, just because this is going to be the entry point for the atmospheric river. So these are projected rainfall totals through Saturday night. I think this is undercooking what we could see in Mount Shasta City. I think we could see upwards of 4 to 4.5 inches, and the secondary bullseye would be there along the coast where we could get upwards of 2 to 2.5 inches. So snow levels, like I said, they're going to be anywhere between 4,500 to 5,000 feet. But just keep in mind that in areas where there's heavier precipitation, such as in south central Siskiyou County towards Mount Shasta City, sometimes that has a tendency to drag snow levels down, so they could be down as low as 3,000 feet. So this is not a hard and fast rule. This is subject to change. Forecasts are always subject to change, just a good rule of thumb. Here's another forecast that's subject to change. The snowfall forecast also through Saturday night. And we're being really aggressive with some of these snowfall totals down in Mount Shasta City, upwards of 8 to 12 inches of snow. And if that comes to fruition, that means that some of those adjacent passes like Snowman Summit and Black Butte Pass are going to be unpassable. Or of course, at the very least, you're going to need snow chains. So that's an aggressive estimate. Just know that there could definitely be less than that. But 8 to 12 inches is certainly on the table. We could have upwards of 1.5 feet to maybe 2 feet of snow falling once again up towards Diamond Lake and Crater Lake, and then just maybe a couple inches falling for Lakeview, for Klamath Falls, and also for some of those passes on Oregon 140. So because of the big time snowfall totals we're expecting for Siskiyou County, that's why we have a winter storm warning in place for Friday and Saturday in elevations above 4,500 feet. And one of the bigger threats from the storm system, again, is going to be the wind gust, up to 65 miles per hour for the Shasta Valley, 45 miles per hour for the Rogue Valley. Winds a little bit more toned down compared to what we saw just a couple days back, but still we're expecting damaging wind gusts, maybe some power outages as well. So we have wind advisories in place for the Shasta Valley, for the Rogue Valley, also a high wind warning in place for the coast. That's for today, and then for tomorrow we have high wind watches in place once again for the Shasta Valley and also for the east side. So travel is going to be difficult because of the winds and also because of the snow. So it's something you just got to keep in mind for Saturday and for Sunday. So for today, winds will start to crank up out of the south and southeast. We'll have rain trying to spread inland, but I think it's going to stall out around the Cascades. But then overnight, it'll finally get that push to get over to the Klamath and Great Basins. Winds will, of course, be a factor overnight. And then into Saturday, we have more wet weather for Sunday, and then a lot more after that. Here's your 7-day forecast for the coast. Rain and winds over the next 7 days. And then for Siskiyou County, we're going to see those big time impacts down in south central Siskiyou County. So you have to keep tabs on some of those roadway conditions for California 89, California 3, and for Interstate 5. Also for the Klamath Basin, we'll see snow, but not nearly as much as what we're expecting for Siskiyou County. And for the Cascades, upwards of 1 foot to 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet if everything comes together just right. And that would be for Diamond Lake and for Crater Lake. And then for the Rogue Valley, wet and windy today, and then wet beyond that.